I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do miss recording my videos in the sunlight. Like, I love my shop, but I do enjoy the natural sunlight. One, it gives me energy, and two, don't I look good though? Yeah. Side note, I also want to know, am I the only one that has like social media sounds that be stuck in their head? Like that one song, I don't even know what song it is or if it's even really a song, but it's stuck in my head. I ain't got no pennies on, ain't got no pennies on, pennies on, which I would never do. Yeah. What's good? What's good in the YouTube hood? It's your girl, Luna Nova, and I'm back with another one for y'all today. If you're new here, welcome, and welcome to Folklore Friday, where I tell spooky stories and we unearth the spirits behind them. In today's episode, if you are not from the South, you may have not heard of this first story, but if you are from the South, they don't even whisper the spirit's name. That's how creeped out and people do not play about this folklore story. Today, we're diving into Southern haunting, cursed paintings, and chilling folklore that grew from real trauma. From the Bell Witch to the crying boy in a painting who allegedly starts house fires. Yes, he's a little arsonist. To the chilling folklore story of night doctors in the Black community. If you know, you know. There's a reason why we're afraid of doctors. Historically, folklore, spiritually, medically, all around. There's a reason for that shit. I'm talking folklore stories that straight up haunted our ancestors. So turn the lights down low, grab your favorite protection oil from yours truly, and maybe just a little bit of salt. Salt never hurts. And let's get into it. Our first folklore story takes place in the 1800s in Adams, Tennessee, where a famous poltergeist haunted the Bell family, which still haunts the house and land to this day. Just simply saying her name brings horrible chills to many people because they know this witch ain't nobody to play with. The Bell Witch wasn't just a ghost, she actually spoke. And the creepiest part is while she was still alive, she predicted deaths that actually happened. Not only that, but legend has it that she's the reason why the head of the Bell family was unalived. Yes, she was the one that unalived him. Or at least so the folklore story goes. So the legend goes that John allegedly cursed himself by disrespecting a woman in the town by the name of Kate Bates, one of the neighbors in the town that was allegedly a witch. It's the name Bell Witch. Well, soon after this happened, a lot of disembodied voices started rumbling throughout the house. And it wasn't just noticeable to John, it was noticeable to the rest of the family as well. And it wasn't just the voices. I'm talking about objects moving across the room, Bibles literally flying in the air. Yeah, this woman was turning everything up, turning every which way but loose. There was so much creepy and paranormal activity going on here that the president at the time, yes, Andrew Jackson, actually went to go visit the property himself. And in his words, he said, I quote, "I'd rather go fight the British again than to have to fight this witch." That's how you know she was a bad bitch. A bad witch bitch. But again, this wasn't just a ghost story. This was an actual true story of a woman who lived in that town. And again, she was nobody to play with. She was on a mission. She had goals and she was going to achieve them. And when I say this woman hated John, I don't know exactly what she did to him, but she hated him. She was going to make sure that she was going to get after him. And the sad part about all of this is, as much as she hated John, she loved one of his daughters. I mean, she would absolutely love interacting with this little girl. They would sing hymns and tell stories together. She actually had a bond with her. So, what exactly was the Bell Witch? Was she a demon? Was she a witch? Or was she just an ancestor spirit that had some unfinished business with John's ass? And of course, today people still claim that the house and the land is still heavily haunted by the Bell Witch. And people, again, do not play about her. They don't even whisper her name in that city because they're so afraid of her spirit coming back to give them a piece of her mind. Everybody saw how John was treated. They want no parts. But what about you? If you ever traveled to Adams, Tennessee, would you ever dare to whisper the name of the Bell Witch? I don't know about y'all, but I'm not playing with malevolent spirits. I'll pass on that one. Now let's shift from the South to something a little bit more modern. Have you ever heard of a cursed painting? Somehow this painting walks out of fires untouched, leaving everything else in its path in ashes. In the early 1800s, a strange urban legend spread across the UK. Firefighters started noticing some really unexplainable fires that would happen out of nowhere that they were constantly having to put out. Now, of course, these firefighter professionals would go into these houses to put out the fire, and be baffled by the fact that there would always be one painting left behind that was completely unscathed, untouched by the flames. Now, of course, I know what you're thinking. How is this one painting winding up in all of these houses? Well, it's not. Apparently, this is a painting that is mass produced, and this one mass produced painting is allegedly haunted. And that would be the painting of the crying boy. Now, of course, there are different versions of this story that exist, so the folklore may change depending on what region of the world that you are from or how your family would tell the story. That's how folklore works. We all know this, but I digress. Either way it goes, whatever version that you learned, they all coincide with the same story of the depiction of the boy in the picture. A tearful little boy staring blankly. I'm not really sure why anybody would want a picture of a little boy crying in their home, but beyond me. Now, some say that he was an orphan, and others whisper that he died in a fire himself. And some people believe that the original painter of this artwork made some type of deal with the devil in order to make more money. I get it, struggling artists got to do what you got to do, but sell a cursed painting? Were you purposely trying to start generational curses with this one? Now, allegedly, this artist did base this painting off of a real boy, so apparently, people are saying that that boy, because he passed in such a traumatic way and was forever encapsulated in this picture, that is where his spirit lies. Now, of course, when people started putting two and two together and noticing that this same painting was winding up in multiple house fires, people started having a fit. They started burning this picture anywhere that they could find it. But apparently, a lot of the people who tried to burn this picture were unsuccessful. Like, the picture quite literally would not catch fire. Talk about haunted and creepy. Now, of course, I love all the spooky things, but I'm trying to think logically when I think about stories like this. Could it just have been the material that it was made out of? That's why it wouldn't burn? Or was it because a spirit was not playing and said, "You're going to know exactly who I am, one way or another"? So, was it truly the materials, or was it something spiritual at hand? In the spiritual world, or spiritually speaking, what happens when we have grief that is undealt with? What happens when we have grief that is trapped? Not only trapped, but trapped within an object. When sorrow becomes so heavy that it soaks into the canvas itself. Is it art at that point, or is it a spiritual prison? You decide. All right, last and definitely not least, let's talk about the haunted story of the Night Doctor. And now, this one is a very well known one in the Black community and kind of gives context as to why we as Black folks do not like the doctor. All right, it's not just for any type of weird, random reason. Historically speaking, we have every reason to fear the doctor. They quite literally used to do experiments on us. And that's exactly what this folklore story is about. So, as I stated before, this is not just a folklore story. This is actually rooted in real history that happened to the Black community and still happens to the Black community. Now, of course, in the Black community, we all have the saying, "Come in before the street lights come on." And that's for a very specific reason. We all know, whether you're watching this folklore story or any of my other folklore stories, things tend to get creepy after nightfall. So it's best that you get your ass in the house. Now, again, in the South, many people will warn their children to come in before the streetlights would come on in hopes that they would escape from the night doctor. And this was not fantasy about monsters. This was a real life fear of a real person, real people that would get you. Now, the night doctor was allegedly said to be shadow figures who would kidnap Black people, men, women, children. I'm talking everyone from the Black community if they could. And we're talking off the street or in their homes. That's the reason why we say get in them houses and lock them doors. And it wasn't a single isolated incident. If you had an encounter with the night doctor, it doesn't mean that it was exclusive to that one incident. That night doctor could definitely come back, or a different one. Why, you ask? It's because these alleged doctors wanted to do experiments on Black bodies. Now, there's always been historical rumors that we tend to endure pain better, have different effects when it comes to medication, all types of weird, far-fetched, untrue things when it comes to Black bodies. But yet, we were still the target for the experiment. Now, I know what you're thinking. It sounds like a horror movie, but this was actually real. Medical schools in the 1800s and the early 1900s actually conducted these types of experiments on Black bodies. Obviously, they were all unwilling participants. They did not agree to these things. And even some of the ones that they tried to trick with the paperwork at the time, because of course, they try to slide certain things in there to make us agree to things that we really weren't actually trying to agree to. They committed these surgeries and experiments unlawfully. And with this real historical event taking place back then, this sparked the folklore story that we know today. People seeing spirits or humanoid like monsters, men in white coats would snatch you up and leave your spirit wandering. These folklore stories are not just stories, they're spiritual warnings, as well as ancestral protection. And the trauma of it all, unfortunately, still lingers. As I stated before, a lot of Black people still have a lot of trauma when it comes to going to the doctor or even the dentist. We have a logical and historical reason to be afraid. Y'all have to be very careful when it comes to who you trust to be your health practitioner in any field. Make sure that you trust them. Side note, I know we all just heard that story about that young Black woman who was a virgin and went to go get a root canal. A root canal and 4 extractions because she was getting her molars taken out, just for her to wake up from the procedure pregnant. And she had no idea until weeks later when she started exhibiting symptoms of said pregnancy. Things like this are not just folklore stories, they are truly horrible things that happen to real life people and freak me the fuck out when it comes to healthcare. This is why I am terrified to go to new doctors because I've built a bond with the ones that I have. I don't trust these medical professionals. I barely trust Western medication, but that's just me. But I digress. This is why we need some more good Black doctors in the healthcare field because we need to be seen by each other. You see what I'm saying? Hearing things like this are not just superstition, it's generational memories. So the next time somebody tries to tell you that folklore isn't real, tell them about the night doctor story. I guarantee there's a plethora of stories that they could bring up that are real, with real life victims that are still alive today. So tonight's episode should definitely remind you guys that folklore stories are not just something that you tell your children at night to keep them from going outside or into the woods. Sometimes it's based out of survival, whether it's a witch on a mission or a curse painting soaked in sorrow, or spirits born from real life experiences. These stories carry lessons, warnings, and truths that our ancestors needed us to remember. So which one of these stories shook you the most? Let me know down in the comments if you've heard of any of these folklore stories today. I'm curious to hear what your version of the folklore is. And don't forget, if you have any personal stories of your own that you would like to share here on the channel, of course, I can do that publicly or anonymously. The choice is yours. Make sure that you go ahead and send them into my email. That is how I'm getting all of these wonderful stories for Mystic Monday that y'all will be seeing very shortly. I'm super excited for that first episode. So again, make sure that you send those emails in with your stories because who knows, you may be featured on the next episode for Mystic Monday. So that's it for today. I'm going to keep it short and simple so I can go ahead and push another one out for y'all because I do have something nice for tomorrow because y'all know tomorrow is Saturday and I love to do my third eye movie reviews for you all. I'm a movie head and a horror hottie, so I love to give you guys what I'm watching so y'all can watch too. So stay protected, stay grounded, and remember, folklore sometimes is the root. So make sure that you drink your water, mind your business, and stay prayed up and protected. And as always, Luna loves you.
Can you light it back up?
Oh my God!
Go ahead.
All right, can you blow that flame out?
1, 2, 3. Let it go.
Why is it so high up
Let
like
it
that?
go.
Wait,
Let it go.
why is it doing that?
It's suspended in there. Let it go. Let it go. All right.
Okay,
Now,
can you light that?
relight.
Light it back up.
Light that thing back up. 1, 2, 3. Go.
You did it earlier.
You're trying. Light it back up.
Make that flame go up real big.
You did it before. There you go.
Oh, there we go.
I'm here. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
All right.
Wow.
Make it nice and bright in here.
I wanted to be nice and ready. Hello.
That is a
There
pretty
you go.
cool
It's
trick.
Nice and bright again.
Wow. Hey, dig it. How's it? What's going on?
Oh, it just went out and back on
It's suspended
command.
in air.
It was suspended in air. The flames were like up here and nothing connecting.
That was insane.
I want to talk about the Bell Witch, and not in the way that you think that I want to talk about the Bell Witch, okay? I just want to go ahead and say this. I grew up in Tennessee, miles away from Adams, Tennessee. I know all about the Bell Witch and how they thought that this was this witch named Kate. I do not believe that a witch named Kate, that was alive, by the way, haunted the Bell family. I believe that it was an entity. Do I believe that the Bell's property at the Bell Witch Cave is haunted? I absolutely 100% do, without a doubt. I've been there. I have been there a couple of times, and it's creepy as hell. But all the information that we got from the Bell Witch was an author by the name of N.V. Ingram, okay? N.V. Ingram asked everybody in the town, hey, if you have stories about the Bell Witch, let me know. And a ton of people responded to it, okay? Guess who he did not speak to about the Bell Witch? He did not speak to one member of the Bell family. Not one. Had he talked to the Bell family, anybody in the Bell family, it would have made the story even bigger, but not only that, it would have made it believable. The only reason why Kate Batts was brought into this whole scenario is because John Bell screwed the Batts out of a purchase. I've heard it was the farm that he bought. I've also heard that it was a slave that he bought. So I don't know which one is which. But what I can tell you is that women had no say in any of the purchases that men made. So how does Kate fit into all of this? I believe that when John Bell tried to shoot the dog that had the face of a fucking rabbit, pissed it off and pissed an entity off. That's how I believe that the haunting always happened. The haunting is still there. Don't piss off anything in the fucking woods. Also, this is not from Appalachia, by the way. Appalachia is in East Tennessee. Adams, Tennessee is in Middle Tennessee. I can get so hyped about this. Let me know if you want more.
Ever dare buy a cursed painting that is said to bring tragedy, misfortune, and fire to all of those who possess it? That may be something that you have to consider if you ever come across one of the Crying Boy paintings. On the surface, this is just a series of different artworks that were created by artists over many years depicting a little boy crying. But legends claim that these paintings are far from normal and that they are actually cursed. It is believed that these paintings carry fire and chaos wherever they go and are always protected from any misfortune. But could this really be true? Let's get into it and try to unravel the curse of the Crying Boy paintings. One of the most well-known incidents involving the painting occurred in Doncaster, England. 1980s, a home where one of the Crying Boy paintings hung caught fire and burned to the ground. The home was unfortunately reduced to ash, but it is alleged the firefighters found the Crying Boy painting still hanging on the wall, completely untouched by the flame. Naturally, this event fueled belief in this Crying Boy curse. In another case, a couple in Newcastle, England also suffered a fire that destroyed their home. And again, they claimed that the only thing that survived was the Crying Boy painting hanging on their wall. Now, this second fire really just literally added fuel to the fire, no pun intended, in the belief that there was some kind of curse around these paintings. And of course, this would not be the last fire. Yet another fire in 1985 in Wales had basically the exact same story. A home was engulfed in flames, basically burned to the ground, and again, the only sole survivor of the entire incident was the Crying Boy painting. Now at this point, this odd pattern of the painting being the only thing that survived really had people wondering how this was possible and if this was really just a coincidence. Now, theories on the explanation behind the curse of the Crying Boy painting do vary. Some people suggest that there might be something to do with the materials of the painting, like there might be some kind of flame retardant varnish on the paintings that does not allow it to be touched by flames. However, However, that being said, it's also widely believed that the idea behind this was mostly spread by firefighters, and that they were just continually finding this painting in the ashes of all of these fires, and that they were the ones that pointed out that this was weird and did not make sense. And so most people think that if there was some kind of logical explanation as to why they wouldn't catch fire, that a firefighter would acknowledge that, and that they would not have hyped it up as some curse if that was the case. Personally, I find that one of the absolute weirdest things about this is that we're talking about different paintings, okay? All of the pictures I've shown you already are examples of the Crying Boy paintings. It's like a series of artwork done by different artists. And so it is really weird, because I feel like normally when you hear about a cursed object, it's one object, and the curse usually comes from some kind of weird thing that happened to the object. But that doesn't make sense in this case. Like, how could just the image of a little boy crying be causing all of these fires and misfortune and some kind of supernatural ability to survive fires? Like, all of these different paintings by different artists. That to me is just the weirdest part. That being said, no one obviously really knows the truth behind the Crying Boy paintings, and we probably never will. You think that these tearful paintings really hold an otherworldly power, or is the truth something more simple and easily explainable?
Did y'all hear about the girl who went to the dentist to get her wisdom teeth pulled out, and the dentist wanted to put in something like in her? Now apparently this girl went to the dentist because she was having pains in her teeth, and then the dentist said, we have to pull out your wisdom teeth. Boom. And to pull out wisdom teeth, you need anesthesia. So while under anesthesia, this damn dentist took the freaking time out of his little surgical moment to inject himself inside of the young lady that came for her appointment. What the fuck? We're not even safe at the dental office? Are you serious right now? The way that she found out was after healing, a couple months later, she started feeling real sick. She went to her doctor's appointment. Her family doctor or her gynecologist gave her a pregnancy test. And it came out that she was pregnant. She was like, there's no way that I'm pregnant because I haven't had smishy smashies in like a long time. So it's impossible. I'm not married, don't have no boyfriends, haven't had one since been pimping, okay? Come to find out, I guess she started putting things together and she was like, hold up. The only time I was asleep and under a man's care was when I got my wisdom teeth pulled. Girl, this mother done put himself up in her and impregnated her.